Hello, Libra, and welcome to your, oh my goodness, your February tarot forecast. Your cards are just like flying out of my hand right now, quite literally. Thank you for being here. I hope that you find something within this message to resonate with, and that if you are, going through any kind of struggling times right now or need any clarifications, that this message finds you well and provides you the guidance that you're seeking. So just a little explanation of the cards we've got laid out here. This top row facing upward is going to be our major themes for the month. Just things to consider, or things we're going to be encountering as we go through the month of February. They could be all one major theme working together. It could be multiple, things that you're going to experience throughout the month. So just keep in mind these cards singularly, and then also working with one another. The cards right below that are face down are going to be your unexpected obstacles for the month. And the cards that I'm laying on top of them are going to be ways to overcome these obstacles, solutions to problems, different perspectives, ways of thinking that can help when difficulties arise throughout the month. This last row of cards is going to be key concepts for the month as well. So basically, the way I kind of like to look at these are the lens at which to view situations, decisions, relationships, circumstances, anything that you might be encountering throughout the month. Just looking through it via the lens of whatever cards we pull, which I am waiting for them to reveal themselves. Interesting. I just got the Ace of Pentacles, and you have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse right in that middle row. So that'll be interesting to kind of look at how they are interacting with one another. We have got the Four of Cups in the reverse, and one more. Ooh. I let the cards take themselves, so sometimes you gotta be a little patient. Three of Cups. Interesting. Okay. We're gonna round it out with some oracle cards. I do like to lay all my cards out in the beginning. Because I do like to see how they kind of all can interact with one another. Let's see, we got lead the way, be a leader, show others how it is done. You can help others. Love that. What a great little message from that oracle card. We'll get into these a little bit more as we get in. The oracle cards, these side ones are going to be pertaining mostly to these challenges and difficulties row, and then this top one is going to be more so in conjunction with these main themes that we're looking at throughout the month. Ooh, that one was quick. If I can grab it. Okay. So these final two, we have death. Interesting to have that. And the hidden worlds, changing consciousness, awareness, extrasensory perception. I've been pulling this oracle card a lot. So, strong message there. Okay. So, recapping, so we can just have a concise vision moving forward. Main themes throughout the month, oracle card having to do with these main themes. They may be working together in unison, or they may be separate themes that you could be encountering. Center row is going to be unexpected obstacles, ways to overcome. Once again, oracle cards that are going to help contribute to this, but any of these oracle cards can be applied to any of the cards in the spread. The bottom cards are going to be our key concepts for the month, things to just keep in the back of our mind, lenses to look through when we are trying to navigate situations, relationships, decisions, anything having to do with that. With that being said, let's start. Okay, so we are going right into these major themes of the month, and we have got an interesting little layout here. So we're starting with the Ten of Wands in the reverse, the Ten of Swords in the upright, and Judgment. Major Arcana card, okay? So right off the bat, let me just make sure I'm correct in saying this before I say it. This is the only major arcana card that we can see currently. I don't know what's in these 3 cards down here, so there could be one down there. But in the spread that we are able to view, this is the only one, and we have got it with the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands. And like, wow, rebirth energy, am I feeling you? Holy cow, very strong. This is definitely a turning of the cycle in a positive way. This is, releasing burdens, something that is weighing heavily upon us. I think that it is something that has led to us to having very negative feelings internally, something that is causing a lot of inner conflict that maybe we've been dealing with for quite some time. In one of the other videos, I did talk about how we might have these ways of thinking, these internalized beliefs that we believe to be our own, but really it's just something that we were subjugated to in a period of our lives where we did not have either the choice or ability to change the situation. So we had no choice but to be under the influence of whatever this belief is, this guidance is, this perspective, point of view, bias. I like bias as kind of like the term here. And because we had no choice, we eventually internalized whatever that was. We repackaged it to make it our own. And so now we are walking around freely thinking that this is our idea. Okay? To me, I was just watching Chris Corsini's Pluto in Aquarius video. I haven't finished it yet. It's wonderful, by the way. I highly recommend you check not only that out, but just him in general, because he is fantastic. But I was just watching that before I did this read, and this is just giving me, major Pluto and Aquarius vibes, and kind of everything that Chris was talking about. Like I said, I highly recommend you go check that video out if you have not. I love to support other people if possible. So he has really good information. I think this will kind of resonate with you in a different way if you do, see his perspective and his information and guidance and expertise on that. So a little aside, but anyways, back to the task at hand. We have these, so 2 tens, right? 2 tens. Tens already signifying the ending of a cycle. After the 10, we start over. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 is new beginnings. We also have these Ace of Pentacles down here. So this is great energy for you. I think that you have something that you have been holding on to. It has been causing you some pain, and you're deciding that, you know what, this is not for me. I'm over this. Even if it's something that it is a belief that you held that came from you and not from someone else. And then you're just going through this period of reevaluation and being like, you know what? This seems to be harming me more than helping me these days. Maybe you're going through this period of reawakening, rebirth. I mean, that's really what the Judgment, there's like people literally resurrecting in this card. Like resurrection, rebirth, reawakening. Like that's literally what this is saying. So maybe you're going through this period of time right now. And also, I resonate with this. I do have a Libra moon, and I am definitely going through a period of reawakening, rebirth. I'm letting go of some things that have been causing me some like major internal pain. Just this morning, I had a major breakthrough. If you're not meditating, I highly recommend that you start. I get that it sounds crazy, that you're like, well, I can't sit still, and like, I can't calm my brain down. Let me tell you, I am one of the most anxious people that I know. You can ask any of my friends. I'm horribly anxious. My mind never stops. And I have just found this way through, I would have to say it is just through absolute surrender and open-mindedness that I have been able to meditate and find this place of comfort and stillness within that meditation, and it is just like bringing blessings on blessings on blessings to me. So if you don't meditate, I highly recommend that you start. But yes, all this to say, you're going through an awakening, a rebirth. You are closing the door on some cycles. You just accepted that, you know, it was what it was, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to feel like you failed. Failure is part of life. Failure is a blessing, honestly, because, like, let's look at it this way. I played sports growing up, and also I am someone who has an easy time learning new things. And I do not say that in a boastful way or an egotistical way. I just tend to have a propensity of choosing things that I'm going to already be good at. Maybe intuitively I know this. And when I do them, they come to me fairly naturally. So let's say you have an individual that never has to work for anything. Let's say they play sports and they play this sport and they always win. Their team always wins without fail, okay? They grew up their whole life experiencing this win after win after win after win. Okay, so now let's say that they are, let's say young adult, teenage years, okay? Because we got emotions are like crazy during that time, right? So let's say they're in high school and they're playing on a sporting team in high school. Their whole life they've known nothing but success and winning, okay? They get to high school and maybe they lose their first game. Or maybe they lose the whole season. I played on a team in high school that we lost every single game in soccer. Sometimes it was like 10-1 or 10-0, like just, and if you know soccer, like that is not good. So, you know, let's say they've gone this whole life experiencing only winning and success. And now they go through this season where they lose every single game, okay? They have not been taught how to manage their responses to failure, to losing, because they've only known success. They've only known winning. They've never been tested in that way. So this is really a blessing in disguise, Libra. Like, you have learned how to lose. We are learning how to let go. We are letting go of these burdens, these things that we've cultivated. Or once again, what this could be saying is, excuse me. Okay, sorry about that. I needed to grab something to drink. My throat gets very dry when I do these videos right now because I'm not used to all this talking. And so, yes, needed to do that real fast. So, moving on. I wanted to bring up, once again, I had this thought, there's 10 of Wands in the reverse. So 10 of Wands is talking about being burdened, kind of having too much to carry, needing to let some things go. So the other thing is like, we planted the seeds for the Wands. Okay, this was effort and work that we put in to cultivate these things. And now they're just becoming burdensome. So the way I look at this is in conjunction with this Judgment card especially, and I mean even this Ten of Swords, you know, cycles, is that we planted these seeds for these things at one point in time because they were serving us at that point of time. And maybe they have served us in this extended period of time that we have been trying to just navigate life's challenges, right? So this could be coping mechanisms, okay? Let's look at it as a coping mechanism. These are just ways that we have figured out how to survive life, and we all have to do that, okay? Now we're going through this reawakening, this revival of the spirit, this renewed sense of being. We are looking at things from a different perspective. We are changing our outlook on things. We are changing how we react to things. And these coping mechanisms that we once planted that were working for whatever period of time they were working are just no longer working. Or maybe they do work, but they're not working in the way that we wanted them to be working on. So we're saying goodbye. We're acknowledging that these things maybe were not healthy. Maybe these coping mechanisms, maybe you're using some sort of drugs to, numb your senses. Maybe you're becoming very detached. Maybe you are lashing out. Just whatever these coping mechanisms were, they probably weren't the most healthy for whatever reason, or they were being harmful, not in a materialistic way, like harmful to your health, but I mean, it is harmful to your health, but instead of being harmful to your health in a more direct way, like let's say drinking alcohol, drinking too much alcohol, they are going to be more impacting your mental space, which then can have an effect on your health. So I think we're just saying it's time to be done with it. It's time to let it go. Okay. I love this whole energy for you, Libra. This just feels very fresh and light and release, and like we're moving into such like a positive frame of life. And I think if you've been struggling, or if you're going through something hard, and especially if it's something that has been plaguing you for quite some time, because I feel like for some of you it could be like a very long-term thing, that we are just deciding to just let go. And the important thing here that I really want to note with this, Starlight, please stop. Starlight for emphasis. The thing I want to note here, especially with this Ten of Swords, is it is a self-acknowledgement, a conscious acknowledgement that we're going to let that go and we're going to move on, okay? So, let that sink in for a moment. Starlight is currently assessing herself in my mirror. I don't know what's going on over there, but let's move on to these unexpected challenges, okay? What do we have? We have got the Hermit in reverse. We have got the Seven of Swords. Ooh, he is a sneaky looking. And we have the Page of Cups or Chalices, okay? And counteracting to those, we have Two of Wands in reverse, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and the Death Oracle card, and Lead the Way Oracle card. So let's just talk about all the center business we got going on here. Libra, I'm just feeling so good about this. I feel so good about your read. I don't know, I feel very optimistic, very light, very, just like getting this really positive message for you guys. And yeah, I mean, actually, so now I'm looking at your cards, right? I'm like speaking to you, okay? Two of Wands. So yeah, there is two wands, but like I didn't even see this one. I'm pointing like you can see. Two of Wands. I want you to look at it in comparison to this Hermit card. They look strikingly similar in pose, right? Like, but I'm so glad I'm looking at this like with you instead of like showing you, because now what I've just noticed is the Hermit, he's looking at the light, okay? And even though this is kind of mimicking the same posture, she is also looking towards this direction, okay? But her face is in shadow. So to me, this is saying that she is looking towards the light, but she's not close enough to really get its guidance yet. So let's just keep that in mind as we go through these cards, okay? Just a very interesting little parallel that I saw there that I wanted to note. So let's just start with the Hermit. The Hermit is talking about self-reflection. It is talking about inner guidance. It is talking about listening to our intuition. It is talking about maybe needing to separate ourselves from others. And I believe two things. Okay, let me actually just get this first message out the way, because it's like screaming in my head so much that I can't even like think of anything else. So the first thing that I'm thinking that is just like literally yelling in my mind with this Hermit card is a separation, a withdrawal from these old ways of thinking. Okay, so we need to separate ourselves, and what I mean by this is we need to be able to consciously be aware of what these things are. So in order to obviously change our modality of thinking, change these feelings we have about things, or biases, or stereotypes, or how we're going to react, or whatever it is, whatever we want to change, we cannot change it until we can identify it. Yeah? Are you with me here? So the Hermit in reverse in this context is telling me that if I'm saying this to you and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, you need to do some self-reflection, and you need to just like really sit within yourself and reevaluate if maybe there's, maybe it's only one thing, or maybe it's something that seems minor to you, but it could be some major things. I mean, this is a major arcana card. If this was maybe like the Four of Swords, which is talking about like taking a step back and reevaluating and meditating and resting and inaction, I would say it could be like a minor thing. But this is the Hermit. Like, he's bringing some emphasis, some oomph to it. So I think that you have some major things that you need to reevaluate if you have not done so already. If you are already in that process of rebirth, of spiritual awakening, I think what this is saying to you is, you need to be able to, once you've identified these things, you need to be able to be consciously aware of when you're falling into them, and then also when you're able to re-separate yourself. So in order to re-separate yourself, you bring acknowledgement to the fact that you are falling into it. So I know I'm speaking kind of fast, and it's just because like I'm just in this groove, I'm in this zone, and so I want to get everything out before I lose it. So excuse me, bear with me if I'm speaking quickly. I want to just go into this topic just a little bit more, and then we can keep going. But this idea of being able to bring attention to an action that you are falling into, and therefore separating yourself from it, is what I'm speaking of. So in an example, I'm going to use emotions. Okay, so I just said so like 20 times. I'm going to work on that. Anyways, let's say something has happened in my life and I'm sad. Okay, I'm feeling the emotion of sadness, and I choose to sit here and say, either out loud to someone, or mentally, or non-verbally to myself by means of emotion. Sorry, I just hit the microphone. I am sad. And now I'm in this pit of despair, as I like to call it. It is the Nine of Swords to me is what this feeling is that I'm in, okay? So I'm in this sadness. I'm wallowing in it. I'm just like succumbing to it. I have just accepted that there's no way out, okay? Now, what is the alternative to I am sad? There is an alternative. If I asked you another way to tell me that you're sad, still using the word sad or a very close derivative of it, would you know how to word that? And if you don't, I would really highly suggest you think about what that says about everything. But, don't cheat and listen to this if you are sitting here like, I don't know how else I would say that. I really pause the video and go think about it, because you really need to do some self-reflection if that is the case. Anyways, and I say that with love. I say that with love and no judgment, okay? Just want to make sure that that's clear. Anywho, if you did that, welcome back. If you already know what I'm going to say, or some, close to it, thank you for staying here through that. But instead of saying I am sad, we can say I am feeling sadness. Now, we have now detached ourselves from this emotion of sad, because I am no longer saying I am sad. Am is like the key phrasing here. And I love that I listened to a song recently. It's become like one of my favorite songs. And I'm not really a lyric person about music. I like the instrumental parts more. But every so often I catch these lyrics that are really impactful to me, and lately have been very meaningful in the specific timing that I have caught them, signs and synchronicities. And this lyric is saying, how many limitations am I having by saying I am? And that's what this is talking about. I am sad. I am not sad. Okay? Sad is a feeling. It is an emotion. It is not me. My being, my soul is not sad or sadness. I am just feeling the emotion of sadness. I'm feeling the emotion of anger, disappointment, jealousy, anxiety, depression, whatever it is. And I think it is important that we be mindful of how we talk about ourselves. And in doing this, we have now separated ourselves from that feeling. We do no longer have to identify it with it. And that is going to be key in this awakening, revival, moment of your life. So we just spent a lot of time on the Hermit. Let us continue. Two of Wands, like, to me also is just like giving me that feeling. Like, Ace of Wands is a new idea, new inspiration. And even though this is in the reverse, I think it's in the reverse only because it's mimicking the Hermit. I think that I'm still taking this in like a very positive light. And I'm taking it as two become one. Yeah, I'm definitely taking this as two become one. I know that this may not be kind of like the traditional reading of the card. I am reading this intuitively, but the suit of twos is talking about union and coming together. And we have two that look the same. Two that look the same. Two that look the same. Two becoming one. And also two looking at one light. She's not looking at her own wand. She's looking at his light. Okay, so this inner guidance, this inner wisdom, we need to make sure we are connecting to it. Oh, it's just like, ugh. I just feel so good for you, Libra. I wish this cough would stop. But that's okay. We shall prevail. Okay, let's move on to these other two difficulty cards. We have Seven of Wands and we have Page of Cups. So, Seven of Wands means I feel like you're feeling like someone has betrayed you. They've gone behind your back and they've done something that you are not happy with. And maybe that is having something... Stop. I think that this Seven of Wands could have something to do with this. Ten of Wands, obviously, someone did something behind your back. It was upsetting and hurtful for you. But, don't sit in it. Don't let that become your whole identity. That's what this whole, two becoming one, we're separating ourselves from these old ways of thinking, these old beliefs, these old hurts, these past traumas, these old relationships. Starlight, please stop. Hi, I'm going to take a pause so I can handle my fur child real quick. Okay, hopefully coming back and this is going to go a little bit smoother now. So we were talking about this Seven of Swords, and we don't want to stay in whatever this negativity is, whatever this betrayal is, whatever it is that is just hurting you. We don't need it, okay? Let it go. Page of Cups, very reminiscent of an ace to me. It is talking about exuberance, excitement, inspiration, a willingness to start something, and especially with the cups, it's usually a creative idea. So this is just saying be wary, be mindful. I also am reading it, actually, I'm not reading it as a creative idea. This is definitely, to me, emotion. Just be mindful okay, sorry. I'm speaking before I have the message, it seems. Let me just kind of reverse back. Page of Cups. Page of Cups is saying, just be mindful of your emotions as they come up, okay? As they present themselves to you. Make sure that we are not falling back into these old ways of thinking. Make sure that what we are feeling is in alignment with our awakening, ascension, spiritual journey, or just whatever it is that we're trying to change right now. Make sure that what we're thinking is in line with that, because thoughts are powerful. Thoughts become actions or words, and those have weight, and those have meaning, and those have impact. Even if you don't share them with anyone but yourself, you're going to eventually in some way manifest those out into the material world. Like, I don't care what you say. I don't care if you're like, well, if I only think negative things about myself, like, I'm not hurting anybody. Are you? I mean, have you really stopped to think about it? If you're sitting there constantly saying horrible things about yourself, maybe not even out loud, just inside, right? How are you going to carry yourself? I mean, you're not going to carry yourself confidently or, you know, with your chest held high or in a manner where you think highly of yourself, because you clearly don't think highly of yourself. And now other people are going to be reactive to that. They're going to see that. They're going to be influenced by that. It's a little stone pebble being thrown out into the pond, okay? So I know you can sit here and say, well, it doesn't affect anyone else and it's only me, but it's not only you. It is affecting other people. You just may not be aware or cognizant of it. And really, as I say that, I'm really looking at this freaking Ace of Pentacles card. I don't know if you can see it, but the pentacle is a circle with like a ton of concentric circles around it. And what does that remind you of? Throwing a freaking stone into a pond, and the ripples just ripple out. They radiate out from that center stone. So, solution: change how you're talking to yourself. If you find yourself in a negative thought pattern, in feelings, words, actions that are not aligning with this area you're trying to move into, like, be mindful of these things. Starlight, the incense is not meant for you. I know. Please be careful. Chaos. Not really. But yes, I love this. I think once again, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, it is just talking about, you know, be mindful of these new feelings, ideas, and their impact on others, okay? That does ripple out, whether we want it to or not. These internal feelings are going to manifest in the outer world. As within, so without. As above, so below. Take that as you will. Let's look at these oracle cards. Okay, and we're back once again. I'm still figuring out how to navigate making these videos and like dealing with everything. So let's talk about these oracle cards real quick after I take a drink of water. Tea, whatever. I don't even know what I have in here. Okay, we have lead the way in death. Death. I mean, say less. Rebirth, resurrection, reawakening, rejuvenation. Casting of old ways of thinking, old modalities, old constraints. And I think also what I really want to note about this card, it's a skull that has crystals growing on it, some mushrooms, plants, a butterfly. Something that I really just kind of want to like point out about this is, to me, this is saying that there is beauty in the release of things. So if you are needing to release things in order to pursue this higher way of living, this rejuvenation, this spiritual awakening, whatever it is that you may be going through at this point of time, understand that it is okay for things to be painful to let go. But better things will replace it. Better things will come from it. So just take solace in the fact that it will get better. Okay, it's okay to hurt right now. It's just, don't sit in it, is kind of like the overall kind of message here. And then lead the way, be a leader, show others how it's done. You can help others. This is just talking about community. And I think really what this is saying actually now is, if you're able to accomplish all this leaving of old ways of thinking, old life really for some of you. I know for me, I do have a Libra moon. For me, definitely just, I feel like a totally different person. Like, I just completely killed my old self and I'm just a whole different being now. So maybe it is something that impactful for you, like it is for me. And this is really just saying is, once you're on that journey, once you've been able to do that, then it's your time to shine. It's your time to take the healing that you're going through. That's really what this is talking about, is like you guys are doing some major healing, Libra. You're getting over some major traumas. And you can't heal others unless you are healed. This is a concept that I've been working with a lot lately in my own personal life. And I think this is just kind of reflecting that in a louder way. But once you are in the process of healing or more healed, because we can always do more healing, right? I don't think any of us are ever totally healed. But once we're actively in that process of knowing how to heal, then now we can share that with other people, okay? And our inner light, our inner healing, our exuberance and gratitude and love for life, like that is going to be felt by other people, and they are going to, maybe you're filled with this light, you know, you're going through this healing process, you feel very light, both energetically, physically, and maybe you are radiating a sense of lightness, okay? And maybe you see someone who is having a bad day, okay? And there is a, man, I cannot remember it either. There is a scientific principle. I don't know what it's called. Probably something to do with, probably not conductivity, but essentially it's like, if two things touch, like if something hot touches something cold, there's just an exchange there, and that's why they like level out. Or it's it is, I'll have to look it up now, because now I can't remember if it's when it's heat and cold, if it's the heat is making something warmer or if the cold is making something colder. I'll have to look it up. But anyways, there is a share of power there, okay? Or energy, I should say, because that's all heat really is energy, right? So there's a share of energy. So if you're walking around with like a lot of light, a lot of positivity, and it is radiating out around you, and you come across someone who is kind of more in a negative kind of mind space, don't be surprised if they just take a little bit of your light. Not all of it. Not enough for you to really notice. But maybe it's enough to illuminate whatever darkness that they have and bring a little more joy and light and happiness and optimism into their light. So, into their life. So you can be a leader actively or passively just by doing this inner work, by doing this shadow work, by releasing of old limiting beliefs, going in a new pathway in life. And maybe this is something that you feel called to do right now. Maybe you feel called to be a leader. And you know what? I forgot to talk about this or part at the top. Hidden worlds, changing consciousness, awareness, extrasensory perception. So typically I read this as don't miss the forest for the trees. Like, don't be so focused on one thing that you're like missing the broad picture. Today, however, I get a different sense from this from you. This is really just talking about going into a new state of being, like a reawakening. And it doesn't have to be spiritual if you're not a spiritual person, because not everyone is. I get that. I haven't been for most of my life, even though I've been interested in these types of, astrology videos for a really long time. It might just be something that is a part of you and just not something you're willing to accept yet, or haven't found in the way that is meaningful to you. That is okay. We can look at this in just a reestablishment of the person that we are if you're not spiritual. So don't let spiritualness be a gateway or like something that gatekeeps you from understanding this message. Just frame it in the context that is most relevant to you, if that is not relevant. Okay, moving on. Bottom cards. Key concepts. Lenses to look through the month. Ace of Pentacles. I think this Ace of Pentacles is really, once again, tying to this Ace of Pentacles. It's just about creation, investment, new investments. This was the rippling of your feelings. So just like